Mic is muted, which obviously has a variety of meanings. Hello, good afternoon. I hope you're all keeping well and suitably cool. It is a beautiful day here at the MKM Stadium, as I believe it's now called, which is very exciting. You see it behind me. There you go. It's, the Norwich fans are in that corner there. The mowers are on. This is the big stand. We have a really good view of the pitch, by the way. Good to see a view of the shape of it all. And the gantries and everything are right at the very top. It's the only 2 tiers in the stadium. I've managed to already record my hot takes, so I've already got the humour out of my system. You can look at that on Instagram, TikTok, whichever you wish. And I hope the connection is keeping up, because it seems to be the time and the space that 4G forgot in here. So yeah, Norwich have lost 2-1 here. I feel like we're in a bit of limbo land at the moment. So these, if I'm honest, and I've done a few of these obviously over a lot of seasons. I know when these things are easy to do and you can be definitive, and I know when they're more nuanced and a bit difficult, and sometimes the people who are watching or want to hear something, and you sometimes feel that pressure to make sure you're doing that justice and you're not deluded, but also being fair to what I'm seeing as well. So first things first, Norwich, there is a pattern now. Let's be honest, it's a pattern. What we're seeing, Norwich have generally started games well, front foot, dominating and creating reasonable chances. They are yet to lead a single minute of Championship football. They are yet to look like really taking their chances. They had 12 shots on target today. Yeah, interestingly, their XG was only very slightly higher than Hull's. So that tells me that although they're getting chances that are giving them shots on target, they're still not great chances. And I think that speaks volumes, because the only goal Norwich scored today came when they were already 2-0 down, and from a Marcelino Nunez free kick, which was an absolute perler. And actually today I thought he drifted in and out of the game a bit, got a little bit not physically bullied out of the game. That's not fair, but basically Norwich dominated the start and dominated the end, but the middle was a very ragged game where Norwich had no control and no real domination of it. And that's the period in which Hull scored their 2 goals. It's a period in which Hull won the game, and Hull only needed to keep Norwich at bay for the other 2 halves of it, the start and the end. So there were times later on where Nunez really did grab things and took charge and looked like that kind of leader you get who is doing it through their football. But the fact that I'm already speaking so much about him, you see Norwich players looking to Nunez. You can see them looking for him to do something. Yet with the attacking talent that they had on the pitch, it shouldn't be coming down to the midfielder they just bought from Chile. So yeah, I mean, in all honesty, Norwich could have been 3-0 up within the first 20-25 minutes. There were a couple of good saves. There were some great chances Norwich couldn't take. Maybe that is one thing that they are missing. Taking the lead, a chance to show what they've got from that point, so the confidence that would instill in them. But I've already said it twice, and I'll keep saying it. There is a massive psychological challenge at the moment for Norwich. And I don't think... I mean, this season already feels cataclysmic. It's so different to 2 years ago. Norwich playing places like this with stadiums full of fans is a completely different dynamic to rocking up with no one in. And in fact, one of the few games where Norwich had a proper crowd to come up against 2 years ago, they lost because they lost at Luton. It does make for such a dramatic dynamic shift. The energy in this place from a team and a club that are hoping to kind of catch everyone out, really. They've spent a bit of money, they're trying to rework it, and they really want to go. And Dean Smith sort of told me on Friday, because I asked him the questions, like, once you've had a taste for it, there's no greater hunger than wanting it again, rather than having not tasted it. I don't think I agree with that. I don't like Norwich played well in their patches. Definitely, the start and the end, they played well, not well enough to obviously affect the result, but they're coming up against hungry teams and hungry players who aren't probably as good technically, and in fact they look inferior in a lot of. Who knows? All I'm getting is a spinning disc. I don't know. It's been one of those afternoons. And to be honest, so far, I know we're 3 league games in, but one of those starts to the season. That does happen. Norwich have had difficult starts, but I don't want to sit here going on about how similar it was to the other 2 times because it's been a bit shit at the start. Excuse my language. Because ultimately, it means nothing. None of that means anything. Just because it's happened before, it doesn't mean it's going to happen again. And in all honesty, I think Norwich obviously need something that's going to click for them and make them feel good. But we've got too many similar themes. I mean, the goal conceded today, it is unfortunate because Max Aarons has hit a clearance off Andrew Omobamidele, but that is then, easy enough for Estupinian, probably how you pronounce it, Oscar, to slot home. But Max has got to either pass it and show composure or clear the ball somewhere else to avoid that unfortunate scenario happening, I suppose. The second goal, just after half time, Norwich struggled to clear the lines from a corner. It was a bit unfortunate, as Grant Hanley said, because they did some good last-ditch defending in that moment. But the reality was that for those 5 minutes leading up to that corner, Hull looked like scoring. So then they got their second goal. Aaron Ramsey has a brilliant chance. He blazes over the bar from a few yards. Then we'd be talking about a draw, and then maybe Norwich would have held in. And there are then some positives to cling on to. And it's fair to say Norwich still did have the run of most of this game against a team that will be looking to finish higher. But you can't get away from the pressure on them to start delivering something, because at the moment you cannot ignore what last season was and the lack of faith probably that a lot of people outside or as supporters have in the current setup, because there's in terms of the Championship, they haven't seen this setup work in the Championship. And you can say that Dean Smith has done it before, but that doesn't count here. It doesn't, because nothing's happened yet. So this isn't the same as, we're okay, we're all right, we're always good under Daniel Farker in the Championship. We haven't got that. The only muscle memory of Dean Smith and his coaching setup at Norwich was what happened last year, which was difficult. And that is, so far carrying on into this season. And it's carrying on into this season because Norwich are yet to keep a clean sheet and they are struggling to score goals. And they are 2 things that happened a lot in the Premier League. And I look at someone like Milot Rashica, who was brought to excel in the Premier League. He's currently playing in the Championship and he is disappearing before our eyes. And I'm not sure what the answer is there, because I don't know who's going to come and salvage him from the Championship if that's what he wants. And if it's not about that, then he's just going to have to show up. It's just going to have to show up. Jakob Sørensen rolled his ankle playing at left back. Norwich are now 3 left backs down. I don't know what happens then on Tuesday, I think it is, or Wednesday. Can't remember which day for Huddersfield's visit. And then it's Millwall on Friday. Must be Tuesday then. I don't know what happens there, because we're just short of left back options quite clearly, and it would be. I wouldn't really like the idea of Sam Byram suddenly playing on Tuesday when he hasn't played any of pre-season. So yeah, they're going to have to figure that one out. Bright spots. If I was to say someone played quite well, it would have been for a period of time. So, for example, I thought Todd Cantwell played well in those opening periods, and actually during the second half, you saw him visibly trying to cajole the rest of his teammates, which, you know, I like. I want to see that character in the pitch. I don't want to see everyone just with their heads down, sort of feeling a bit sorry for themselves. But it's disjointed. The table doesn't lie with how the start is going, and I think the issue you've got at the moment is I don't feel like much has been done since relegation to freshen the feeling around the place. Maybe that was the idea. Maybe the idea was, well, we'll win a few games come the Championship, so then we'll be all right and everyone will get over it. But that hasn't happened. But it isn't about that. It's like it's just it's just sort of been left, hasn't it? And I think the person who's going to probably have to deal with that pressure is going to be Dean Smith, because he's the focal point. And however anyone likes him, he has got to get a tune out of these players, because he has got to make them effective. And I think they are looking better, and they you know, they look like they were just going to brush Hull aside in the first 25 minutes. But you kind of know that if they don't score in that period, that it's going to be there's going to be a flip, and they're going to start going into their shell a bit. And we've seen all this operate before in an entire season. So I hope, you know, they all care. They will all hurt from this. No one wants it to be going like this. So I'm not, you know, it's nothing that I'm sure is something that they're not all feeling. And ultimately, if there is something in the club that's happy with the growth of the squad and wants them to compete in the top six, but, you know, it's okay because we're playing a longer picture that hasn't really been explained much recently, then that's okay. But that will need to be communicated, because at the moment, this team is supposed to be going straight back up in the top two. That's supposed to be the goal, isn't it? And if I'm honest, obviously that's not going to happen if they keep doing what they're doing at the moment, because they need to look much more clinical and ruthless and confident in what they're doing. So yeah, we've got 2 big games coming up at Carrow Road. We will see how they go. Keep an eye on the Athletic, of course. We'll have a podcast on Monday on the ball, Monday evening. And I think that probably keeps ticking on until then. So I will see you in midweek. We'll take that down. Thanks for all your comments and questions. I'll make sure I have a read of them all. And until next time, enjoy the beautiful sunshine. And I will see you all again very soon. Cheerio.